Hey guys, Truth Dog here, internet's favorite dog. It's 4 a.m. in the morning. It's 4 a.m. And I've been awake for about an hour, but that's okay. I went to bed pretty early. I've been having a lot of thoughts. Um, one that I wanted to one I wanted to put down is just if you see something wrong, point it out. Any single time, or you get and I'm not talking about like someone littering, or a I don't know, someone did someone didn't bag their doggy do or whatever. I'm not talking about like stupid little indiscretions like that. I'm talking about like a vibe check stuff. Like an aura read or whatever. Like you see someone, let's say, see this is something that bugs me. Like the whole reason that these that the people who like rule this world are trapped here is because that basically they bred with angels, which is rape. And I spoke about this in a comment yesterday to one of my viewers who was asking about the video I made about Dave Grohl touching his daughter or whatever, which I mean I can't say for sure if that is the case, but she seemed to admit it unconsciously. And we all know how that industry works, and you've heard of the Rob Reiner stuff and all that. Like it seems like they're all into that. It's part of the initiation into the Illuminati, is they have to be videotaped, or I guess filmed. You'd call it film these days, with a lewd act with a minor. As a form of blackmail in case they ever, you know, go against the system. But and all that stuff's perpetuated in culture through everything they put in, like sexualizing children in media is extremely common, and it becomes more commonplace every year, because it's like that song by the Manic Street Preachers. If you tolerate this, then your children will be next. And that's literal in a lot of ways. It's sort of alluding to that Hitler Youth thing, but it's also exactly what it sounds like, which is what I'm talking about, where they're slowly but surely trying to condition people, brick by brick by brick by brick by brick, every single day, to normalize their lifestyles, for multiple reasons. But essentially, it's just to turn this world into Babylon, and it's all it all repeats itself, and it all resets, and it always does. And I spoke to my viewers the other day about the like how they're creating all these Mandela effects and all these rips in the timeline by using CERN to find the God particle. See, these evil creatures, they're looking to find this God particle so that they can have total power like God. You know what I mean? And use it for the total evil. But the joke's on them, because and they don't even know this. But when they find that God particle, it's actually going to turn them all good. you know It'll actually it's a trap. That this whole world's a trap, and there's nothing to worry about, is basically what I'm trying to get at. That speech was a lot better in my head, and I wish I'd start recording these things when I actually think of them. The one that I was thinking of telling you is basically just, if you see something wrong, point it out. I experienced yesterday at the shops with bad customer service. Basically, a person with no soul uh, served me, and I got, basically I wasn't, I can't really get something refunded, which is fine. But the way it was told to me was with no empathy, no respect. It was just very matter of fact. No, well, I'm sorry to say, or well, unfortunately, or yeah, that sucks, mate, or anything like that. It was just, yeah, well, because it's out of this. And, I was speaking to women before that. Women are always very nice to me for some reason. But then, they had to get the guy from the game section or whatever. And straight away, like, as soon as I had to talk to him, I didn't want to, um, because it's the same thing for us. People with high energy, if you're around someone with low energy, it feels awful. And if you're low energy and you're around someone with high energy, to them it just feels awful. So that's why you get that attitude. It's a jealousy kind of thing, and I don't think it's necessarily conscious, because I don't think these things are conscious beings. So it's very hard to address it, which I didn't. But I just left that situation feeling very, very rattled, basically almost like energy vampire. I've got like so much energy these days, so it doesn't even matter if they take some, and I'm sure he did take some. But that wasn't the point. What happened was that my positive energy, I felt, was being converted into negative energy. And this is what I've told you they do, is in that scene from Jacob's Ladder, where he's having a really good day, you know, and then all of a sudden he walks down an alley and nearly gets run over by these psychos, right? And it completely, that's what I'm talking about. That's what they'll try to do. And this is what I'm trying to help you with. So if you're ever in that situation where an energy vamp or a person with no vibe, no aura, you've had to deal with them for one reason or another, honestly, I would recommend just walking away or potentially addressing the issue, asking them about why you feel, like telling them how you feel and seeing how it goes. But the reason I didn't do that was because I was speaking to someone else and it was going well, and then this person appeared and I had to tell them the whole story again while the other person was still there, and it was just a complete opposite experience. And the lady who was helping me initially, she noticed me backing away, and by the end of it I was standing so far away from this dude, and I just basically said, yeah, all right, well, I'm going to go. And they probably thought that was weird. I left and I was feeling horrible, and I was thinking, it's kind of like standing up for yourself, and this matrix will test you. It basically wants to keep you feeling small and feeling insignificant, like you have no voice and you don't matter and all that stuff. I guess we all get that, right? Because that's how everyone's made to feel. And in those moments, it's a test. It's like it's test of your self-worth. And are you going to let someone disrespect you like that? So I went about my day. I was looking at other stores and I couldn't get it off my mind. I thought, no, I'm going to go back and I'm going to say something. Not to that person, because it wouldn't get me anywhere. I can't even talk to that person. There's no line of communication between an empath and someone with no empathy. You can't talk to them about anything. They're probably just going to lie. That if they're not empathic, they don't care. They probably prefer to lie. And honestly, like I was saying, the way this guy treated me, it was like he enjoyed giving me the bad news that I lost hundreds of dollars on a purchase through no fault of my own. But anyway, so I went back. I was looking for someone else to speak to, another manager, right? I did see the guy catch his eye. I gave him the friggin' most well, not evil, but I gave him the most intense stare ever, and he looked a bit rattled. But he was far away from me. A lady, she was an older lady, very nice. She approached me and asked if I needed any help. I said, oh, actually, I do. I'd like to make a complaint about a staff member, if that's okay. She said, yeah, no worries. And I said, it was actually in this section, the game section. So could we please could we come over here and talk? So we walked to a different section of the store. And like I said, she was very lovely. I just basically told her the situation like I did just now. And she was very understanding. Like I could tell straight away, just looking in her eyes, there was empathy there, and it's like, okay, that's what I needed, And I told her, and I said I don't want to get anybody in trouble. He's probably not even aware of it, and I'm sure no one's ever complained about this before. And she's like, no one has. But she got exactly what I meant. So I told her, and she said, okay, I'll have a word to him, and all that, which let's say he does mean no harm and he is harmless. I don't think he is, but at the very least, hopefully something like this can. I know I've had experience with this in the past, where you just point something out and you never see these people again. Not that I ever go to this stupid store, usually, but you'll never see them again. It scares the hell out of them, or it's almost like for passing the test. It's like your reward is they remove one loser from this world or something. I don't know what it is, but anyway, I told her, and it was a lovely experience. She was very understanding. She said at the end, "Is there anything else I could you like need or whatever?" I said, "Oh, a hug," and she said, "Oh, I don't think I could do that." And I said, "I know, it's okay, I understand." And I thanked her. I said, "This has been wonderful. Just speaking to a person like you has made me feel a lot better." And she gave me a compliment about my hair and all that stuff. So that was very nice. And so I went on, carried about my day. And from then on, all my interactions, aside from one, were positive. But this is what I'm talking about. Like when someone disrespects you in this world, it's a test. And you have to stand up for yourself one way or another. It's like they say, doing the right thing is never easy. But it's always worth it. So this is my attempt at a motivational video while I'm barely awake. Don't know how effective this is, but yeah, hopefully it's given you guys something that'll help you. Something that'll help you sleep. Yeah, I wish I had something to help me sleep, but that's okay. I'm all right. Have a good one. Truth dog out. Woof woof. Okay, I realized what I wanted to say. The whole point of that thing I just did. Oh gosh, I've forgotten it again. How is that possible? It's almost like I'm being mind wiped because this is important. Far out. Okay. I did give them enough time to get to the console and press the button though, with that long bloody speech before. Gosh. Okay. Oh yeah, now I remember. It's the whole point of doing something you're scared of. It's I've said it before. Another thing I can compare it to is cleaning your house. You know, let's say because that's you are a product of your environment, and if your environment is messy and cluttered, then you are messy and cluttered because you're essentially just a brain floating inside one of these bodies, right? And if your brain is perceiving mess and clutter, then mess and clutter is what you will perceive when you're not in your house. I mean, it's all you'll perceive while you're in your house, and that's bad enough because we spend a lot of time indoors in our own houses, especially people like us, obviously. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make here is that what I experienced yesterday was the thing. See, I'm just reminding myself of what I already know because this is a truth that triggers them, that we know everything. It's just a matter of remembering, because we come here with our minds wiped, and slowly but surely, we remember the truth. Ideally, we remember all the truth and nothing but the truth, but that's not expected. As long as you basically have, it's like a puzzle. Let's say it's a donkey or whatever. You need enough pieces of the puzzle, and let's say the pieces of the puzzle are truth. You need enough truth to be able to see what the picture looks like to get to the next place, if you know what I mean. So you only got like half of the pieces, half of the truth, but you can tell that's a donkey. That means you get to go to the good place. All right, so that's how it works, and you get these pieces of truth by facing your fears. And my fear yesterday was confrontation a little bit, but just basically not wanting to rock the boat, or not wanting to go through the hassle or whatever it was, right? Not wanting to embarrass myself or someone else. Don't ignore all of that. Ignore everything, all your feelings, everyone else's feelings. Just focus on what's right and what's wrong, and do what's right. And when you do what's right, you get rewarded, and the reward is self-esteem. The reward is confidence. It's personal power, and it grows and grows every single time you do it. And that's what they're afraid of. That's why they want to keep you on a rolling down the hill rather than rolling up the hill. People think you can roll up a hill. You will roll up a hill at the speed of light. You just need to face your fears. Anything you're afraid of, a little voice, just do it. Just do it. Unless you're a bad person. And yeah. If your urges are opposite to an empath's, I don't know. But don't do anything. But yeah, the point I'm making, sorry, is after that, like I said, I walked up to a security guard and asked him if he knows about aliens and stuff. And we had like a 15-minute conversation just standing in the middle of the mall, like a crazy awesome conversation with this guy who I just got the vibe check. I think I can talk to this guy, and I wanted to talk to him about the people at the Crystal. It wasn't a store; it's one of those like stands or whatever in the middle of the mall, right? And so like I walked up and I saw they sell orgonite, which is meant to dispel negative energy, right? But the thing I've noticed with these orgonite pyramid crystals is that they always have the coil in reverse. It's meant to go clockwise so that it dispels negative energy. But nearly all of these, actually I would say all of these like crystal places and all that, all they sell is the coil with the counterclockwise. Which you could imagine at the very least isn't dispelling negative energy. So I walked up to them and immediately, I'm just normal like this, and hi, how's it going, blah blah blah, and I'm getting nothing from them. It's that zero empathy, zero aura, zero vibe. And I asked the dude about these things, and he's like just fobs me off to the other lady there, and she was no more attractive. I've noticed this too about them. They're not attractive at all. They're just like, because it's not physical, with your with what attraction isn't physical. Someone could be good looking and unattractive is what I mean. Now these people weren't good looking or attractive, unfortunately, from my eyes. Yeah, I've said this before. Being around unattractive people is hellish. It's like living in a dump. You know, all I am is a brain, and I see. You know, my what I see is what I feel, and if I'm not seeing good things, I don't feel good. You know, imagine looking in the mirror and having and looking like that. You wouldn't feel good about yourself anyway. Sorry. So yeah. Anyway, these people were jerks, not like me, and. Yeah, no, I asked him and I said, so can you tell me about what you know about this stuff? Because I just wanted to see if they knew anything that I didn't, or maybe see where they're coming from. And she basically just said, oh, there's this paper here, just read this. So she points at a little printed out cue card in front of the fucking things. She's telling me, it dispels negative energy like you were saying, and it's good for gardens and all that. She didn't mention cloud busting or anything like that, because that's the whole point of orgonite. The reason it was those coils were invented was to disperse chemtrails, and yeah, that's one of the main purpose of them. If the coil's right, and I told them about the coil, and they just basically acted aloof, and like the conversation, it just deliberately, like they just deliberately cut communication with you, even though they're standing there. So I was just like, okay, I'm all right, yeah. I just walk off, like I did with the other person, and then I met that security guard, asked him if he knows about aliens, because I eventually wanted to talk to him about the movie They Live and point those people out, and I did, and I told him about the other thing, and he completely got it, and he gets criminals, and he knows about the CIA Project Bluebeam, how they're eventually going to do a fake alien invasion. He was fully onto it, and I could talk to him about everything, and even stuff he didn't know. He was open to it, and even enlightened, because he told me about the same thing when he goes in, and he hates when he can't stand being around people with negative energy, and like customer service, and if they're treating him like how they basically fob him off, they pretend he doesn't exist, and so he just leaves. I said, they want you to leave. I think they want you to leave, because it's like us, what I was explaining before. They feel about us as we feel about them. That's why they fob you off, or try to make you feel like crap so that you'll leave the store. It's happened so many times. That's the thing. Just don't call it out to them, because you're going to get stuck. It's like fight. Don't They'll drag you down to their level, is what I'm trying to say. Speak to someone in the store who works there with empathy, and don't worry, you'll get it done. You'll get it done, because they'll be able to see the difference. The problem is when you get tangled in with their narrative. They're liars, and they've got home base, and they'll make you look like the bad guy or the liar or whatever, because everyone's susceptible to them, because they're used to the person they work with. But anyway, yeah. So what I experienced was that, which is freaking amazing, like fully just that on top of the lady who the manager at the store that helped me before, all of that combined, that made me feel so good. I got so many compliments after that about my hair, and I just felt like $1,000,000, because I was owning myself, and people can see that, and as soon as you face your fear, you're owning yourself, and you got that self mastery, that's total confidence, and it's very, very, very attractive. It's angelic, it's beautiful, it's heavenly, and good people can't resist it. They'll come to you. People come to you when you're good. So that's I think that's the point I was trying to make initially, is that this is the reason you want to stand up for yourself, is because it builds confidence. And then when I got home, there's been this issue where my neighbors have this tree where the branches hang over onto my property and leaves drop down, and I've let it go on for years and years. Different people used to live there, and they would cut the branches, but these people moved in, and because it happened at a point where I was at such a low state, I just lost my father, and I was going through a lot of other things, so I was lost. I was in a cloud. I never addressed it like I should have. But yesterday I got home and I thought, no, let's keep this momentum going. So I went next door, knocked on, and I spoke to them, and basically, it wasn't the easiest thing to do, because they didn't, I don't know. But long story short, it's going to be good, and they're going to do that. So that's just another thing that I've knocked off, because it was super easy once I did the right thing earlier. Once you do it, it's like a video game. You've leveled up, and you've got a new perk, and it's like, I don't know. It's Fallout 4, whatever the confidence charisma perks are. You'll get that just by pointing out a wrongdoing to the right person, is the point. You got to do it to the right person, and then things, then the good. What am I trying to say? Everything will be all right. Don't worry about anything. That's the point. All right, so that's the video. Hopefully that was helpful. I think that might have been a bit more helpful for you guys. All right. Well, I'm going to try to get back to sleep. I don't know if I will be, but anyway, truth dog out. Woof.